Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Michigan here with a Frontline game for you. And this was my last game of my first session. I know it's a Tuesday already. Tuesday night, I guess it only came out yesterday. And upon finishing this battle, I said I was not going to be doing a voiceover, and then I realized nobody really wants to watch raw Frontline gameplay when you could just do it yourself. So I am platooning with two friends here, two real-life friends, Bottle of Bash and Hawk 6, and we decided that we were going to go kind of bottom of the barrel here and play triple BZ-176. I assure you, you only have to see this once, but it is quite fun. So Bottle's going to get an awesome early hit on the TVP, I believe, on the move too. And as this is operational support, we basically cannot get reset that much because in 62 seconds, we will be getting already dropped on us like Yazoo. So, if you look at the enemy team here, we actually discussed this a little bit. They have quite a bit of hold down stuff, and the Contradictus and that Simivente are going to be quite difficult. So we're trying not to poke too much. The Basante hops on, but because it's operational support, and until you are a lieutenant, he won't get the opportunity to have engineering. We don't have to worry about him blocking us. And actually, Pascola is a old clanmate. So, with Hawks on, it's going to drop that timer down to 19. Now, I'm getting a little lucky here because I'm trying not to block our teammates. It's going to get a nice 812. This tank is so broken. On that guy, and while Hawks and Bottle finish off the other side. So 7 seconds left, 6 seconds left. I'm going to block a Tornwagen shot. And with 3 seconds, we know, because my mines are going to be up in 4 seconds, that as soon as this cap gets out, we're going to get arty dropped on us. And now I'm going to I really just want to eat the arty because I don't want to go out in front of those 3 tanks. So I'll back into the arty just a little bit. And now Bottle and I are going to go full send at these 2 tanks. Looking to see if I can drop the mines. Not really going to get anything. Bottle will probably die here to the IS-3A. And I'm going to miss the IS-3A, unfortunately. Looking to drop mines on him. It's sort of a little wacky. And we're going to get a nice 810 into the IS-3A. And we will use a rocket to finish him off because the repair point is right there. And the other broken thing about this is our rockets get replenished instantly upon going into that repair point. So with Bottle dead, he's going to go into the KPZ and start dealing with B. And Hawks and I in these BZs are going to refuel our rockets and go over there to shoot across. And I'm looking for this Prototypo 6, and with last second, almost aimed. Good enough for wargaming and RNG, so we'll take it. 780 roll, and we're going to go over here and refill our rockets. Now that Prototypo is going to have to go all the way back to behind the F-cap to have to repair that. We took 744 in that whole engagement, so not too bad. Rockets replenished, and we are going to start heading over. Now, the BZ, we'll talk a little bit about some of the tanks we play. Obviously, this tank is sort of disgusting, and I did not shower after I played it, but I'll only play it once this time, so you won't have to see this thing again because it is kind of disgusting. Now, this Baraskier is going to sit here, and I don't think he realizes I'm here, but I'm going to fully aim and then just sort of fire one in there, and luckily he didn't move. I'm actually a little surprised that he didn't move and the shell went where I wanted, because I think this thing has 0.2 or 0.38 accuracy, something like that, even after improved aiming. So nothing special there. Definitely not a long-range sniper. For here, it gets a little dicey in Frontline. And I apologize for the very non-standard sort of yapping that's just going to be going on for the next 30 minutes. But such is life when you have a 30-minute replay and you don't remember everything that happened. You want to balance the amount of tanks you have with sort of how the battle's going. So just because I'm alive in the BZ doesn't mean I should stay alive in the BZ. And in a couple minutes here, Hawks is going to start mentioning that he wants to get rid of his. So what my plan is I'm going to just burn my last rocket just to get to the repair point. And while I'm not damaged, again, that'll replenish my rockets, and then I can sort of send myself at that echo cap, hopefully throw my tank away. Sam Lockhart there. I wonder if that is the YouTuber guy, Sam Lockhart. If it is, shout out to you. And then we'll just throw our tank away because we have 2 tanks. And in 4 minutes and 40 seconds, we're going to get that countdown timer reset. So I'd like to be dead in about 3 minutes, 3-4 minutes, so that we can actually get that tank and replenish it. Because once that gray one there on the bottom left counts down to 0, obviously you don't get that tank. That timer starts again from 5 minutes. So it's sort of a tricky balance. We do outnumber the enemies quite a bit, so you know, obviously I don't have engineering yet, but if I can get on the cap circle and rack up some points, that would be awesome. I'm not going to use my booster just because I'm going to have to go around a corner here. This is about the point where Hux is thinking about Jaying out, and we decide, why don't we just throw ourselves at the cap circle, maybe we can get a shot in or two. And also, this is a game mode where I like to make credits, so it was really fun to do all the premium rounds in the beginning, but these things are expensive, so I'd rather not do this continuously here. Using our second to last booster, Bottle is joining me in the KPZ. A TS-54 pops up, and there is a Mars, and I'm going to need to get down here and make sure I put one in so that we can finish him off. Unfortunately, I'm going to be a little stupid, not look where I'm going, auto-aim, come down, and then just throw it in there. I sort of went all cool and collected on that one. But that definitely could have been a lot worse. That Mars is a little worse for wear. I'm going to start backing up, and unfortunately I'm going to get nailed by a Scorpion G in the forest. I should have stayed reversing, but I guess I really didn't know he was there, so, you know, that's a hindsight 2020 thing. Instead, I'm going to back up, bounce one off the Scorpion for my front plate, and now I'm just going to sit here. And this is sort of a 50-50 because the enemy knows I'm here, and if they drop an Arnie Strike, I'm going to die. Especially with my repair kit taking an extra minute. My reload, I believe, is 33 seconds right now. So instead, I'm going to sort of angle forward in case something comes around, and I'll just look for the Scorpion. The Scorpion knows that I'm here, and I think he's more focused on shooting that AMBT and the Emil, so he doesn't want to poke out too far. But if he does poke out too far, or I decide to reverse and get him, he does decide to overpoke, and we're going to hit him for 620, and that gets us Captain. So we're going to bounce one, the Emil misses, but the Emil's going to kill us there, so it is on to our next tank. Hawk 6 also died, and so the Bottle. We will skip this. So where are we going to move to now? We're going to load up in the Squall, and I've really been enjoying the Squall. So a little bit about this tank, if you're not familiar. I was so close to getting rid of this. Actually, I'm in the process of thinking about how I'm going to make a video called Why I Sold 50 Premium Tanks. But it's one of those tanks that really just isn't that fun in random battles. And the main reason for that is the thing is the size of an IS-3. And it only goes 60 and has 0 armor. So really what you have is just a light tank with a great gun, sorry. Also really not great job shooting there at the end. Did get a nice hit. But I have found that in Frontline, it actually is quite nice. And that's because this gun is just so great. You have a lot more room to maneuver in Frontline and to sneak up behind people, but you cannot trust your camo, and you can't trust your armor, and especially with so few hit points, it becomes quite tricky. Lucky that I bounced that shot for the Mars. I'm just going to throw some out there on an auto-aim, not even going to hit anything, and just try and get the hell out of dodge. Bottle in the LT-432 is trying to do the same thing. He's going to come flying past me here in a second as we both try and escape this onslaught of medium tanks. I'm going to take a low roll. We're both trying to avoid the T-32. I'm going to throw out my combat reserve there, try and get some assist, as we do with that prototypo from our Inspire. Now this Mars is going to try and come and reset. Basically, we have to hope that maybe he misses, or I just drive through the cap. Mars misses one. I'm going to come in. Bottle leaves the cap. And I get reset, so I have 254 health to play with. I have another tank and another one coming in 33 seconds, so I'm basically just going to throw this tank away. Now, in terms of throwing it, you still want to do the most damage you can. And sometimes you do get lucky, so I'm going to look for this Mars, and then my goal is to try and mine myself. I'm going to start shooting early against the Mars. It's only 65. I'm going to use this windmill to try and block myself from this 168G. One of them dies. I'm going to drop the mines on the Vipera. I'm going to come around on the low side and try and kill this 168G, which I believe is a super testing tank. Just start shooting early. You don't need to pen everything. Kill him, and I am going to get finished off by the TS-54. But I will take that. 254 health, got some mines, some stun damage, and 2 kills. And that got us to Major. Bottle and Hawks are still playing over there. Bottle kept his LT alive, unlike myself. Guess he has more faith than I do, and instead I'm going to respawn in the Object 274A, another tank that I've really been enjoying. This tank really is what I'd consider almost a 430U at tier 8. It's got okay gun depression. It's really not that great. I mean, I think it's 5 degrees. But what you do have is an awesome turret and a great frontal plate, which is angled. And you also hit for 320 with some nice AP and APCR rounds. HE rounds aren't that great. 420 alpha is nice. Only 62. Scales well with the 320 and extra 100 alpha. But the big downfall of this tank is the accuracy. I believe it's 0.36 accuracy. The aim time is absolutely horrendous. Good luck trying to shoot anything on the move. I mean, I look to squeeze one in there, but it just doesn't go anywhere near. And I'm going to try and squeeze one in. But not going to get the kill there. I was hoping to get kill number 6. What you also have is some great DPM. And unfortunately, you are about to see it not get showcased. As I drive to a crossfire here with an Alembic and a BZ-166. But again, if I'm going to die, I'm going to have to make the most of it. So I'm going to hang out behind this building, drop the spotter plane, see if I can spot some of the stuff, maybe get some artillery strikes on it. Hawks in the Grom, another ridiculously overpowered vehicle, is going to get a huge hit into that BZ-166. And I'm going to look for the Alembic poking, the Brask pokes. I think about trying to get a second one in and squeeze one in, but instead I take a hit from a Contradictus and from the Brask, and instead I'm going to make the most of this, drop the mines on the Alembic, and then we're going to start playing some games with him. He gets stuck in the middle of the mines. I'm going to see what he decides to do. He decides to bounce a shot off a front plate, so I know I have 4 seconds. I'm going to throw one into his track, and then he is going to, or the Contradictus is going to strike me. So not a great result on that go, but luckily I do have that extra tank. And now Bottle is telling me that F is pretty wide open. So I'm going to spawn in the LT-432 and try and take out this WZ and then hop on the cap circle. I'm going to look for this WZ, and you're about to see a absolutely horrible display of marksmanship as I try and kill this one shot. 132, going to just throw another one blind. This tank I actually just purchased today, so I had a second premium light tank. Look for him again, and the accuracy on this thing isn't so hot. I really should be stopping and aiming it, but these APCR rounds, you know, I'm just not used to the speed. They're APCR, but they're not 1,300 meters a second, so you can tell I'm not, you know, they're 1,100. So I'm not really leading the target properly. And instead, I'm going to fire one fully on the move. And of course, that's going to hit. And we're going to now have some more gun woes as I try and assist. I believe that's Hawks there. Or actually, I believe it's Bottle with killing this AP-30. Fire one in there against that guy. The GSOR 1008. Bottle's coming over the top with the AMX-30 in tow. Fire one in there. Nope. Gonna hit the ground. I really shouldn't be moving so much. Miss, you know, or I believe that bounced. And Hawks is gonna have to bail me out there because I really just don't do that. Now with 13 minutes left, we still have plenty of time, but I would like to start getting some cap points up. And I'm going to drop the flight radar there, or whatever it's called, to see what's on that opposite ridge. And I'm going to hang out behind the cap circle. Fortunately, a Kampfpanzer comes up, and I think that I can shoot him through the trees. But unfortunately, I'm going to get lit, I believe. I guess not quite. Here we go, I get lit now, presumably from the GSOR. And this means that I'm going to be in a kind of sticky situation. So instead, I'm going to get safe from both of them, which means I'm going to have to take a hit from the KPZ. Luckily, with 200 alpha, it won't be too bad. And we all agree that this GSOR needs to die. Continuing, you could get to continue seeing my terrible marksmanship. And what I don't want is this GSOR to just roll back around the hill, repair, and then hop up where the KPZ is. So I'm going to take a little bit of a gamble here and make sure that this guy dies and he doesn't get to bring that tank again. So I don't know what's back there. I take the risk. Put one into him, 27 HP. That gets me General. First on the team, with Bottle and Hawks very close behind. With 18 minutes left to play in this game, everybody's got plenty of time to farm. I'm going to come in here, snag some of these extra cap points. Hopefully my marksmanship improves just a little bit. Looking for that KPZ. Now my shells start to fly true. Look at those snipes with some not so great accuracy. Caps out, and now I see a Viper show up on the left. And we decide, bottom line said, we just have to rush this guy. So, very tricky tank. I'm trying to shoot the side, but my tracks are eating it. He blows my track off. Looking for his lower plate, just not going to get it. I'm going to try and go around. He's got great traverse speed, so it is going to make it a little tricky. Shouldn't have auto-aimed that, but I was trying to focus on driving. Squeeze in there, finish off the Viperia, and now I'm going to head to the repair point. This is at the point where Bottle informs me that there are mines on the cap, or on the repair point, as the Lynx just found out, and this Blesk is also about to find out about the hard way about the mines. You can see them there as he drives straight on there and goes straight back to the garage. So not a great result for him. The last cap that we need to work on is E, so I'm going to get myself some credits, they clear those mines, and start heading back to E and see what I can get it at. Fully repaired, and I have a second vehicle coming in 3 minutes and 45. I can be a little reckless here. We're up to 8 kills, and we are at small army already, which is quite nice. I believe with 21 kills exactly. 19 kills, sorry, so we got 2 kills to go. Thinking about going for that KPZ, not going to bother. Let's see where our platoon mates are at. Hawks at this point, I believe, ended up in an unfortunate teammate situation where they just let him, they fed him to the wolves basically, so he's got a couple minutes. But again, 20 minutes left to play and we haven't even gotten the final cap, so he'll have a ton of time left. And you will see that he definitely makes the most of it. But Bottle and I, for the meantime, are going to start to skirt this cap circle and see what damage we can get. We're not so concerned about the cap at the moment, more is clearing it out, and then we can deal with the cap later. But let's see what happens. I don't want to spoil too much. I'm going to throw the spotter plane where that Scorpion was last lit. I'm wondering if that Contradictix lights me. He doesn't. So I'm going to pop on the cap circle here. I'm thinking about driving past it. See the 166, and unfortunately, Bottle and I are going to crash into each other. I'm going to let him go because I really don't want him to take a hit from the 166. I'm going to take one from the 122 TM. Not so concerned about getting out of his way because he has a 14-second reload. Cue some terrible driving. This is why people don't like spawning next to me, because I suck at driving. And now I'm in a bit of a pickle because I know that Contradictix is behind me, and he's going to take full advantage of that. So instead, I'm going to risk taking the shot from the 122 TM, who bounces, and then pushes in and doesn't look at me. So I'm just going to auto-aim. There's the Progetto, and I'm going to get myself into a weird check situation where I can't move, right? Because I can't get shot by the Contradictix and I have to stay safe from the Progetto. But luckily, this 122 TM just isn't looking. So I will happily continue to farm him. And now that he does look at me, I'm going to back off and let the arty strike. So now I'm going to look. I don't really mind if I die here. I don't really care because I have an extra tank. But I'm going to get a free kill on the 703-2. The Contradictix doesn't look at me. I was going to look for the drive wheel shot, and I say, nah, let's just get the damage. And the CS-52 Lease will finish him off. So now I decide, you know what, again, tank coming in a minute. I'm going to be reckless. I got 1 minute and 62 until it shows up, or 162 HP. And maybe this Progetto or the 252U won't see me. So if they do look at me, I'll just drive straight through the cap circle and take the extra hit. I'm going to sit in the cap circle, analyze. Looks like I'm low enough, so I'm actually going to sit here and take it. I'm trying to use the bush, also spot, see if I can spot him. And I see that Progetto leaving. I know he let me there. I'm just going to get out of the cap circle before anything crazy happens, and I'm going to just start chasing him down. This tank's accuracy on the move, I found out, isn't very good, so you're going to see a lot of shooting and a lot of missing. What's also interesting that I didn't realize is this thing has, it's almost backwards, because it has, and also watch this Progetto. Not watching where it's going, boop, right into the river. Goodbye. Would have loved to get the kill here. But you have standard APCR and premium AP, which is a little odd. Often you'll have premium of both, or premium APCR and regular AP. So what I'm going to do now is try and get a little bit of assist as I'm going, because there isn't too much I can do here. If I drive out into the open, it is going to get a little tricky. Instead, I set my sights on the Lancin. Probably should wiggle a little bit against this prototypo, but I'm going to take a 261 hit from him. That puts me down a little bit more than I'd like, to where this Lancin will probably do some damage. Maybe I can get one extra shot out before he reloads and gets artied. With the prototypo also hitting me, the Lancin finishes me off. But we are at 10 kills now. We get the double digits, and now our platoon definitely has some. So for this last segment, not last segment, I guess we still got 24 minutes to go. I'm going to go with the Squall again. And I've really been enjoying this tank as it's repaired. I'm mainly using the standard rounds here with the 8 HP, because remember, this thing uses the tier 9 gun. And I'm going to try a little bit of range shooting. Just get some extra damage there. You know, shoot a couple different targets, get some more XP, and we'll get about 300 damage there. It's 300, wow, 300 or so damage. Not too bad. And 17-second reload, happy to do it. Again, it's just the size, poor camo, and the lack of hit points. But you're about to see what the Squall is capable of when you can catch an unsuspecting enemy. The other thing is, this tank only goes 60. So I know this Lancet's here. He's probably trying to repair. And there we go. We're just going to auto-aim. And he turns his side to us. And with the last couple of shells, we finish him off doing 720 damage to that tank, and only taking 1 in return. So I'm thinking, do I repair here? And I decide, yes, I'm going to. The problem with the Squall is if you get yourself into a tricky situation, you're probably not getting out. So I figured I'll take the extra 327 hit points now, and that way maybe I can throw them a little bit later and use some of my light tank speed, you know, in quotes, light tank speed, to maybe get to a different repair point. Just going to throw the thing down there, hoping this guy doesn't shoot me. He's not paying attention, so I don't need to worry about that. And now I'm going to just sort of throw this tank a little bit unintentionally. What I want to do is get close and get these mines up. But really, I shouldn't be doing this against double autoloaders, and I get tracked again. So what I want to do is deter these guys on the corner by dropping Arty. But what this Progetto is going to do is just push out anyway. So I'm just going to start throwing my whole clip into it, and seeing if I can back out. Now, this would work great if there wasn't a Progetto down in the Prototipo, who ammo-wrapped me on the other side of the wall. So, you know, I don't know if that was worth it. I did get 360 assist. I got some mines damage, but probably could have done a little bit better there, maybe just working the field rather than taking a lightly armored tank, which I know is lightly armored, into the city. But, nonetheless, we have to be a little bit cautious now, because we don't have any reserve tanks, and we have 2 minutes, so I'm going to go to the Obsidian, another one of my favorites. Now, if you're not familiar with the Obsidian, I don't blame you, because this tank hasn't been sold. It was a marathon tank, an easy marathon tank. And what it has, actually, this tank was originally supposed to be a tier 10 medium. And what it has here is a great frontal plate. Turret's a little weak, but basically, if you think of the KPZ-07RH, it's that, but you have a lot of armor. And you have the same style gun. It's 200 alpha with 212 pen. But you can take a lot of hits. And when enemies try and shoot you, especially with heat, these wheels actually count as armor, so you end up blocking a lot. As this Prototipo is about to find out here. Now, it's not invincible, but you can see the shells, the wheels eating it. Now, we do eat one there. A little bit of wiggling, and we are good to go. Going in there. It also has some decent APCR rounds. If you really want to be a sort of, I guess, a gold spammer, with these rounds, I guess it doesn't even, yeah, you get about 232 millimeters of penetration, and it's not so much, and you have great accuracy too. I should add that. I believe it's 0.29 accuracy. So your shells will go where you aim them. The big thing is here, when you pair it with Inspire, you get about 3,500 DPM, which really adds up. So what we're going to do here is try and use our mines. I'm a big proponent of just getting them out so you can get them back as soon as possible. Dump them right on the Hori. We will get stun assist there as well. And we are going to try and sneak up on this Carnarvon. Again, you'll see the accuracy of this as we snipe the top of the Carnarvon on the move. And then start looking to shoot the Hori too. One more. The KB5 is going to come in. And we just need to roll. There we go, 108. And now we're going to turn our attention to this LT-432. And this guy's about to find out what the Obsidian is capable as well. I'm tracked. And you'll see that I have 1 second, and it's up. And now this thing is actually pretty maneuverable. You can get your hull around quite a bit, and that wiggling creates a lot of problems for opponents. Now with that Prototipo out, I'm going to load some HE. I believe he's going to die in a second. Or I believe he is. I'm going to load some HE, try and kill the Scorpion. I'm going to angle against the Scorpion and hope that he doesn't pen me. But he does. He goes right through my side. Part of it was he was a little above me. I was hoping I could get some HE shots on him. But that gets me 14 kills. Unskinned Scorpion for 2. The game is coming to a close here. I'm going to load up in the Barask. We have 18 minutes left in this battle. Now, I believe that may be incorrect. Something feels off about that, because I remember me only having about 50 or about 30 seconds at this point. So something is definitely wrong there. Hawks is up to 11 kills, Bottle's up to 6. It should be mentioned that both of them have general now. We were the first 3 generals. And we're going to see what we can get. Now, I'm driving to see if I can kill that Pantera. The Pantera comes up across. I'd like to get 2 shots in here to see if I can maybe get some high roll, maybe a ram, see if I can get to 15,000 damage. First shot's just going to track him, take that opportunity right through the drive wheel on the Pantera. It'll take 1 in return, and the game will be over. Objectives have survived, so definitely something was wrong with the timer. But it was a fantastic game for us as a platoon. I got 14 kills, Bottle with 7, and Hawks with 12. I believe that's 33 kills between the platoon, which is a personal record for me, and all 3 of us made general. So let's look at the post-game, I guess. We lost. Battle time expired. This is how I want games to end. Wargaming has not put anything in that says you make extra money if you win. So I prefer when I'm attacked to have that battle time expire and us take everything. And when we're defending, I prefer to win, again, with battle time expiring. It says here we made 211,000 credits. I can tell you that's wrong. Gross, this was 777,000 credits, and we made profit with 689,000, I believe, or 645,000 credits profit. So great result there. We got Supreme Gun for doing the most damage done and assisted. We got Small Army for 20 or more vehicles. Again, our platoon did 33, so closing and undoubling. And General of the Army for being the player with the highest XP. Now it says we did 291 hits of damage. Remember, that's with a squall, so don't take that too much, or don't take that too crazy again, because this is just with the squall. So it doesn't really show. Again, it's sort of bugged here. And honestly, there really isn't much else to say, because the replay bugs and it doesn't really like it. So we'll say this is sort of our post game. These are the awards we got. I wish I had the other ones. Unfortunately, I didn't realize that what record would do this, but we did get 33 kills as a platoon. So awesome result. That's a record for me, and I'm sure you'll see 1 or 2 more Frontline games pop up in the future. Thank you so much for watching this mega video. I hope my commentary was somewhat decent. It's been a little bit, but I guess I am enjoying recording. So, again, thank you so much, and I'll catch you next time. See ya.